Hello everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Slow Customs. And in today's episode, we'll be looking at my Glynn and Sonny customs. So we'll look at Glynn here first. So Glynn was pretty much just an entire scratch build. You can't really base him off of anything that exists. So I based my Glynn off of a few other people's models of Glynn. Specifically Thomas Wooden Railway Models' Glynn, because he made a really good Glynn, and he's made a lot of them for other YouTubers, but I figured I wanted to make my own, that way I can put like my own style into it. So yeah, anyway, so let's get into them. The main running board for Glynn here, that is a Thomas chassis, cut down to size and just sanded and glued on. Everything else on top of him is just glued to this main part down here. So I think it's a good size and length. It does hang over a little bit, but I did fix that issue. I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah. The main coffee pot boiler thing that Glynn has is a Trackmaster Superstation barrel piece. I had an extra one that I didn't really want to destroy, but I figured it would work best for making Glynn, and I think it did. It really looks like his actual boiler. The top part of his boiler here, that is a Lego dish piece with a Lego candle on top of it to give it the height and like funnel aspect that Glynn has. So yeah. I think it looks pretty good. I don't have it completely centered, as I did want to give space for the front box here, which I'll look at now. The front box on Glynn, where his face is, that's just a Lego 1x3 brick with a Lego 1x3 plate on top. That way it doesn't look too tall, but you can still see that their brick portion thing is there. I really don't know what it is on the actual Glynn. Maybe it's a water tank, or maybe it's a cold bunker thing. I really don't know what this area in front of Glynn is. So if you guys know, feel free to tell me, because I would really like to know, because it always did kind of confuse me. Anyway. The handrail piece right there, that is just a cut-up toothpick, hot glued on. I tried my best to get it to look nice, and I think it did look nice, honestly. It looks a lot better than other handrail jobs that I've done. Now, there is one that goes in like the center of it, and it really doesn't connect to the front part here. But I just decided to have my own take on it because I really didn't want to do another bar that went down the center there, so yeah. The back controls here, this is another 1x3 Lego plate, just to give it like a, kind of like a step or a seat. I really don't know what it is, but the actual coffee pots have them, so might as well add it. The controls on the back here, it's pretty simple. It's just two levers and what I believe is a whistle right there. I did kind of copy what Thomas Wooden Railway Models did with his, just because I didn't know what to add there. So I do think it looks nice though. The toothpicks, and these three are toothpicks too, so yeah. Now to the buffers. The buffers for Glynn weren't originally like this. I did post a picture on Twitter on what he previously looked like. Just moving this here. But that was before I got the chassis for him, this is a James chassis, or no, I don't remember, but the wheels were a perfect match for this kind of bright red, so it had a James chassis, but the wheels were red, so I don't know what it was, but yeah, so I had to go and correct the buffers to accommodate for the new buffer, or the new magnets on the end. So these are new pieces that I cut out, and it goes over top of the buffer there. You can kind of see it. That way it still looks like the angled kind of thing Glynn has, but it still doesn't like cover the buffer. The buffer housings, or like the buffer faces, I guess, those are just 1x1 Lego studs. I put them on the front and back just because I wanted his buffers to have some definition to them, and I think it looks good. I like how they turned out, with it just being black. So yeah. This little part here, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's like a crane handle so that it could be like picked up easier. I don't know, but that's just a paper clip that was carefully cut up and just stuck on there. So I think it looks nice. Before we get to the face, which is a big part of it, the headlamp on Glynn is just a Trackmaster Thomas headlamp, sanded down and just painted up. I think it looks pretty nice, actually. It looks a lot like the headlamp, and it's actually 2 scale, which I think is nice. So, yeah. Now to the key part of Glynn is his face. I'm really proud of how his face turned out. Honestly, it's one of the best 2D faces that I've done. That and maybe Entian. I don't know. But this is definitely one of the best 2D faces that I've done. I just think it looks a lot like Glynn in like the show. And a lot of people tend to use the Wooden Railway Thumper face, which I think is a good face. It does look a lot like Glynn, but I didn't really have a Thumper face nor a Thumper to begin with, so I really couldn't do that. So I just decided to make my own face. And I think it looks real nice. With like the eyebrows and all that, so really proud of how he came out with his face-wise. So definitely one of my best smaller customs. Yeah, he also does have his number here and his little plaque, name plaque thing, I don't know. And it's just painted in the standard red, so I believe that's, oh no, that's just a shadow. Okay. Yeah, I really like how he came out, and I was thinking about maybe just like making a few more Glynns and selling them, just because he was kind of easy, but probably not. Anyway, so now we are going to go on to my Sonny custom. Now this body for Sonny was made by Tidmouth Yard Studios. He's taken, well, I think he's taken commissions, but he does a lot of 3D print commissions, and a commission fell through, so he had like 3 Sonny bodies that he just figured he'd sell. So I decided to buy one, because why not? I was planning on making a Sonny, so yeah. So this is the 3D body from Tidmouth Yard Studios. It's really nice and accurate. It looks really good. But otherwise, all I really had to do was just paint it and add a face, and obviously give him a chassis. So let's get into the paint that I used. The blue isn't really accurate to how Sonny looks like in the actual show, but I think it's close enough to where like you could look at it and say, oh yeah, that's the same kind of blue Sonny has. Because I know his livery is more purple-ish, I guess, but this is the only real color I kind of had to that. And sorry for the camera shifting. I lost one of my stabilization pads to it, so sorry about that. Anyway, so it's the same blue that I used for Isle of Sodor, and that's just basically his entire body. His white lining, I think I did a little too much lining, because I think there's like 5 bands, I think. 1 here, 1 in front of the dome, behind the dome, and like this boiler band thing is supposed to be towards like the cab flush with it, but I decided to take some creative liberties to it, and I don't think it's too bad, actually. I think it works for how Sonny looks like. The splashers and I believe sandbox here, that was pretty simple, just done with a white toothpick, or white paint with a toothpick, and just painted on. Here is the other side too, so yeah. I think this side is a little cleaner with the splashers and stuff, just because I actually figured out what I was going to do, because technically I think they're supposed to be like a gold, kind of like what's on his cab here, but I just decided to make it white because it looks a bit better, so yeah. He has his black dome right there, not a black safety valve, just because I figured might as well just keep that blue, that way I didn't have to like angle my toothpick around the cab and all that, so yeah. The smoke box for Sonny was obviously just painted black. The face I decided was a take and play Charlie face. It's a little different. Well, it's actually a lot different, but I think it works as a good substitute for Sonny. I think maybe in the future I will replace it. I don't know. I do kind of like the Charlie face. If you can look past that, it's Charlie. It works. But anyway. So yeah. Red buffer beam there too. Pretty simple. A little gold kind of thing around his funnel. I don't know. The cab lining, I think I did pretty good actually. It works where it wraps around the little piece there, so yeah. Same with the back bunker here too. The roof also did come off on the 3D print, which I thought was nice and kind of cool. So all I did was I painted the inside of his cab black, and then I glued the roof on with some super glue. That way it didn't fall off and it kept it kind of accurate to the show. But I did like the aspect that the roof could come off, so that was pretty cool. Portholes there too, same with his funnel. Sorry if it's a little hard to see. I'm doing this in kind of a not well lit room, so it may look a bit dark, which I am sorry about. But yeah. The back here, pretty simple. No lining, just because I figured why would I need it? And I didn't know how to do it where it looked good, so it's just simple blue with 2 portholes and a buffer beam there. Really nice, actually. I like how he turned out. The chassis for Sonny was taken from a 2018 Thomas Wood dairy diesel. It was in pretty good condition. I probably shouldn't have taken the chassis from it, but I didn't really mind it just because it was Thomas Wood. So this is just the original chassis with the name kind of blacked out and just painted black. That way it didn't look too weird. But yeah, it looks pretty nice. I think I'll add the name like later onto like the bottom. I didn't do it with Glenn either. Or sorry, Glynn. I think I've been saying his name wrong this entire time. I think it's supposed to be Glynn, not Glenn. Glynn. It's kind of hard to pronounce first try. So anyway, I'm really proud with how these two came out. I think they look really good and accurate to the actual show. And who knows, I might make another coffee pot in the future. I don't know. I really liked making the Glynn. He was kind of fun to make. So yeah, I think I have another 2-3 customs on the way. Not 100% sure, so yeah, anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.